Yeah, so hello everyone. Konnichiwa. I'm in Japan. I'm traveling here and I decided for that last minute, and it's a dream that I fulfilled. And what I want to do with this video is something that I did not dare for, I think, 3 years. So I'm a little bit, when there's a word between nervous, excited, and happy, then it would be this. And if a country would have a word for that, then certainly the Japanese. I might just don't know it. So I arrived a little bit more than a week ago here, and it was a it was a journey so far that is beyond everything that I can really describe by my feeling and by what I experienced here. One huge part is that I travel, yeah, with this one, and it is a rice hat, and I was on a spiritual journey with it um, through the island of Shikoku. Shikoku is one of the main islands of Japan, and you travel 88 temples, which I didn't. I just visited some. But what it does is, and it is doing still, is it gives me um, time to reflect, and this video here is a result of this ongoing process. So. What I do now since 6 years is I'm looking inside with Zen, Buddhist Zen practitioners, and psychology. 2000 years old psychology, way before Carl Jung and all those really great people. And this psychology looks very deep in the human mind, very deep in our emotions, feelings, the connections to the body, everything that is us, and essentially the question, who are we beyond the body that we are essentially not, or the mind, our thoughts that are also conditioned, so we are not our mind, and what are we then? And are we the one who perceives everything? But what is this? Okay. And through this time, I went through many practices, such as from yoga sessions to meditation. I became vegan, mostly. In Japan, in Japan, that's not so easy. Because simply the things are too yummy, the sweets. So I did many things, retreats, week-long retreats, staying up every morning at 5, start to pray, start to practice, meditate 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and so on. Many things in those 6 years, and I can say it really changed my mind. It changed how I feel myself, how I feel my body, how I perceive my environment, because actually how I perceive myself changed. And the, let's say, hard touchable result of that is that I have the best friends I ever had in my life. My connection to my family is, I would say, better than it was in the last 15 years or maybe ever. I would say I'm way more sensible to things. Not saying that I'm already mastered to perceive everything well. And I still do a lot of things where I really would love to have acted differently. So it is a path, it is an ongoing way. But nevertheless, I go that way, and it is the way of Zen. And I think such a practice can help many of us. Not necessarily Zen, it can be in any kind of, I have friends who are Muslim and Christians, whatever. It doesn't need to be religious. It can be just something that is good for you, good to connect with nature, with yourself. Whatever the practice is, it can help. So, and during that time, more and more came the question of, okay, and what I'm doing here on this planet. I do that meditation. I try to be mindful. I try to help people. Maybe you know that I built up this wonderful charity, Chance to Grow, to help children in Vietnam. It is absolutely fulfilling. It is so close to my heart that I worked like 2 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock at night for years, many weekends, many months, because I felt like that is meaningful. And it is. Nevertheless, I feel like I want to do more. I want to do something more. Okay, and that is a very torturing torturing question. And maybe you are also in a situation, or you have been in a situation where you felt like, what is the real meaning that I'm here? Yeah, and two things I can say. The first thing is, yes, happiness plays a big role. I believe everything that has to do with our why in this life also has to do with happiness. Anything that feels like a burden, but okay, I need to do it because of something, of a vague hope in the future, or of hoping something else that is a pain vanishes, that is not our why. I think so. And very often our why, by the way, is connected to our childhood. I think as a child we are less conditioned, so we are more pure and more near to what our heart truly wants. And how you define that, the inner child, that is subject to talks, but it can give a hint. What did you like as a child? And no, your why might not be to play with Matchbox, with cars, but it might be to build up things, or to organize things, or to communicate in a certain way with people, or with a certain approach. So that is what is meant when we say, like, connect with your inner you. And to do that, you need to be free of what is hindering you from connecting with your inner view. And in fact, what I came to as a second point, as a conclusion, is that we all have a light in us. All of us has an, and now comes the trick thingy. We all have an individual light that is truly individual, and it is the same. So how do I mean that? I mean it in a way of, the source is the same. The quality of the light is the same. That is very spiritual, I know, but we can also put it more in a psychological way and say, there is something great in us that we can contribute to the world, a gift that we have. But the source, for example, of being human, of having the ability to love, to experience feelings, sometimes sad feelings, crying or feeling loss, but also immense joyfulness and bliss. Those things are qualities that every human being shares with each other, no matter if you are a beggar on the street or a manager in your tower, if you are a dictator or a soldier or a gardener. We all have the ability to feel that, and that is something that can lead us to compassion. So, and when we have that light in us, it might be blocked through belief sentences, through conditions that we have from our childhood. Like, you are in that way good. When you behave well, you are good, or you must be the greatest, then we acknowledge you, or don't do that, so we get restricted in a way. Whatever it was, those are belief sentences, wounds that we carry in us, and they are there for a lifetime if we don't know. So many of our actions, actually all of our actions, are a result of course, our thoughts. And most of that, 90%, not spiritual but psychological spoken, just from what neuroscience knows today, are repetitive patterns. And they come from how we are conditioned as a child, what we believe who we truly are. So the summary is, if we want something in life, it is not enough to want that. We must be it first. And in order to be it, we must know who we truly are. Because it doesn't matter if I say, oh, I want to be a horse with so much energy and I really believe it. I will sit here forever and I will not be a horse. But maybe I'm something else. And this else is a wonderful gift to the world. So, I think this whole beingness here, spiritually spoken in a wider sense, but also for me in Japan, being in Japan, is a lot about finding out who we truly are, and what is that beingness? What is my horse? what can I share with the world? Because I think that is in the end the best purpose, if we can give something to the world. The Japanese have the system of ikigai, right? When you share something. So that is, I think, truly and immensely important. And why I do this video, and I come to the last seconds, I think, is because it was so torturing for me to not know what is my light, and only to hear, oh, we are all one, we are all connected. It is not about what you do, it is about, and so on. That did not really help me in every situation. Rather, it put more pressure on me, because I had expectation on myself, right? First, we may compare ourselves with others outside, and then we compare ourselves with our own expectations. And of course, they also have a long history of what our parents wanted, their parents want, and so on. Okay. The fact is, and that's quite interesting, if we can be in loving kindness and acceptance with ourselves and truly be happy, and I think I really achieved that at some moments here in Japan. I mean, it's not that I achieved that, it is that it was achieved through me. It simply happened. I planned nothing. I didn't even know where I sleep in the evening. Nothing. And it worked out very well. And the teaching is trust. Trust. You are carried. Life is for you, not against you. And what may cause pain very often is our resistance to life. So, what I learned is, in the last, some years, yes, Zen, but also face reading. Face reading is a mythologic view to human beings to see where is your talent, because actually, as our thoughts, of course, condition our actions, also how we look like is mirroring a lot about our character and personality. And for those who think that that might be a very questionable statement, you are free to do so. I might have not be different in the past, but just look at how you react when somebody comes into the room with a certain mimic, yes, but also if you meet someone new, you immediately have a feeling. Immediately you know, would you, let's say, go out with this person? Yes or no? Or would you buy a car from this person? Yes or no? Would you trust? You immediately have a gut feeling, and you know very often you are right. And when we try to convince ourselves that this feeling is not true, and we try to make a logic system out of it because we are so headstrong, especially in the West, then that is not wise. In the end, to convince our gut feeling that something else is the better truth does not turn out to be so good quite often. Nevertheless, logic has its reason, but you know how it is for you, right? Do you trust your gut, yes or no? In fact, face reading is a methodology to really go to a person and help that person to better understand what is your talent, your naturally born talent you came with to this life, in order to then discover things where you might be hindering yourself or might be hindered to truly live your purpose, and then also to support you on an ongoing way to realize that. So in the end, it is about bringing your light into the world, not me shining for I don't know, to make the garden a little bit brighter. It is more to support others, you, everyone, to shine in his or her own light, which then, yes, spiritually spoken, is one. Okay. Believing that or not, it is quite powerful to know what talent is in you truly, and where do you struggle, and how to live that. And even, it can even say a lot about health and so on, but that's not, so far I'm not there. And I make this video to overcome my own shadow of fear and imposter syndrome, because I really didn't dare to do this for years. Yeah, and now I do. So, if you are interested to have a face reading and to look into yourself with, yes, some learnings that I had from Zen, from other disciplines, of course, as well, but mostly from psychology. Also by sensing what is there, and by a methodologic way to help you and to look at your light. Because I can say I needed constant support, and I need constant support of people around me. It's not that I sit down, meditate, and everything is fine. That at least hasn't happened so far. So if you're interested, if you want that, let me know. There are many ways to do that, and I'm happy to share. Because, yeah, as I said, loving kindness is important to me. And like with charity, that is close to my heart, I think that is a way to make the world a little bit more bright. Alright, greetings from Japan. This was very stereotype here, but it is actually how I really live here, at least for this time, and I really am thankful for that. Thankful also that you listened.